everyone, and welcome here as we get set to begin our fourth weekend of the NNSCRA. We are getting set here tonight for Hersheys Cup Series non-charter racing. Tomorrow we've got Pizza Hut X Series racing, and then following that we've got Hersheys Cup Series main event racing, all here tonight under the lights at Bristol. Dirt is where it begins as we're getting set for 30 laps of racing, and this track has brought about unbelievable finishes in the past couple of seasons. I might be incorrect in this, but I think that we've run this track for 2 seasons, Season 2 and Season 3, and I'd have to look back and find out, but I believe Benjamin Miles won the inaugural race here, and Jake Baskinger won the race here last season, but neither one of those drivers are in this field because they are a chartered ride, or chartered teams. We are going to have a brand new winner here at Bristol Dirt here this evening. As starting on the pole is the number 11 of B Tellier. Now, you'll notice the car looks a lot different than it has in the past first few races here this season when she drove a Pepsi Ford. Well, they were actually not able to get her Lincoln for KB Racing Enterprises completely put together until just now. So she is debuting her number 11 Lincoln, sponsored by Listia, here tonight, and it's starting on the pole. So we'll have to see if maybe Becca Tellier can possibly put Lincoln in victory lane for the first time in a Hersheys Cup Series event, albeit a non-charter race, but still an opportunity there. Maybe transfer into the main event. She'll start alongside of Jordan Lopez in the 45, and then in the second row, Phil Parker, Sean Henley, a couple of drivers that are looking for good runs, with N Guenther completing the top 5. Speaking of top 5, how about the top 5 in the points? Drivers that are trying to get themselves up into the top 5 in the standings by the completion of this season to be able to take the 5 vacant charters of the lowest 5 chartered rides after Season 4. We'll get the command, then we'll cover more in just a minute.
Drivers, start your engines.
As there's the command, the drivers right now that hold those top 5 positions in the standings. Daniel Gilbert is still the points leader by 6 points over Seth Cole. K Shearer, after his win last week at Las Vegas, he has now jumped up to 3rd in points. He's only 7 points out, and he's rolling off from the 8th position here tonight. So we'll keep our eyes on the Pittsburgh Pirates, Pittsburgh Penguins Chevrolet. Caleb Farrell, he is 4th in the points, 15 points out, and Alex Gray right now holds the final 5th position in the standings. Stephen Pollard III, Dougie Shears, Daniel Olson, Cole Deaver, and Sean Henley. That's the top 10 in points coming into tonight's race. Here we go then, 30 laps of racing under the lights at Bristol Dirt. Let's turn them loose. We are green. Dust kicked up there in turns 1 and 2. It's hard to even be able to see. Phil Parker trying to get to the inside of B Tellier. Here comes N Guenther, 3 wide for the top position. And remember, the top 7 finishers in this race will transfer into the main event race here. 4 wide off of turn number 2. As N Guenther will go to the point. Cody Smart down to the bottom, 3 wide for 2nd place. And the caution is out. Caution flag waves. I'm actually quite surprised we didn't have the caution come out on lap number 1. They were 4 wide for a brief moment there. Let's see who might have brought out this caution. Seth Cole, 2nd in the points involved in this one. There's Henry Nova, the Honda Accord out of Axiom Rage Motorsports. He's involved as well. See some rear end damage there on Caleb Farrell. A little bit of damage on Chris Dollerton. They may have been collected. Dougie Shears as well. So that's 3 drivers coming into this race in the top 10 in points. They've got some damage. Seth Cole 2nd in points. Caleb Farrell 4th in points, and Dougie Shears 7th in the standings. There's Nova on pit road. So let's take a look and see what brought out this caution for the first time here tonight at Bristol Dirt. Trouble breaking out very early. Well, we're going to try and find a way through this cloud of dust to see what happens here. We may not actually be able to even see it. It looks like Seth Cole just snapped loose. From my angle, it looked like the car just slid up the hill. And he collected Dougie Shears in his wake. There's Henry Nova getting involved as Seth Cole's car goes up and into the air. Angel Navarro might have gotten a piece of it. Oh, Seth Cole's car is actually going to go upside down onto its roof. So the car did get air, but it also did flip over Chris Dollerton, you saw get a piece of it. He got a little bit of contact from behind from M McIntire. Dougie Shears might have had a little bit of contact with Alex Miller. Not entirely sure. And I'm not exactly sure how Caleb Farrell got his rear end damage. He must have gotten it afterwards because he doesn't have damage at this point after the wreck has happened. That's a tough break there for Seth Cole. In the last 3 races that we've had so far for the main event, Seth Cole has taken part in 2 of them, at Daytona and last week at Las Vegas, but it does not look like he'll partake in the main event later on this weekend here at Bristol, as he, Dougie Shears, and a couple of others bring out this first caution of the evening at Bristol. We'll get ready to go back under the green flag on lap 7 of 30. Henry Nova and Seth Cole both out of the race as a result of that incident. We've got a couple cars a lap down. Dougie Shears a lap down in 37th. Ryan George also a lap down in 38th. They had to have some kind of a extended stay on pit road. So 36 of our original 40 on the lead lap. And here comes Ryan George trying to get back in the tail end of the lead lap as he kind of almost power pushed that start. And as he did, they're going to go 3 wide for the race lead. Phil Parker to the bottom. Cody Smart in the middle. Guenther on the high side. Guenther's going to fall back. It's now Parker and Smart. And here's K Shearer into the mix. 4 wide almost again. Oh, they're beating and banging. Some contact between Phil Parker and Nick Guenther. K Shearer trying to win his 2nd race in a row. He won last week at Las Vegas. He's trying to win here tonight at Bristol. Side by side with Cody Smart. Both these drivers know each other very well. Both of them battled against each other in the Pizza Hut X Series last season. And here comes Charles Jackson into the mix. The Klondike Chevrolet out of Climber Tech Motorsports. Now in 3rd, looking for 2nd on Cody Smart. Remember, these drivers are battling not only to win this race, but they're battling to be in the top 7 in the running order. Last time by, B Tellier was in that final transfer spot as Jackson to the inside, going for the lead here at Bristol. And he will take the spot, but for how long? Cody Smart switches lanes. He goes to the bottom looking for the top position. And don't look now, but Zachary Stultz is starting to work his way up to the front there. He's now taking the 4th position away from B Tellier. That bright green, dustless blasters Toyota Camry, but he'll have to wait because the caution is out. Big black plume of smoke just up ahead. And that does not spell out good news for somebody. There were 2 big plumes of black smoke just lingering there in the turns 1 and 2 area. As we're under caution for the 2nd time here tonight. Just nearing the halfway point of this race. Oh, there's one driver involved, Christian Merrick Jr., the rookie. Tyler Deaver, our winner from Rio, he's got damage now on the back of his number 96. There's some left side damage on the points leader, Daniel Gilbert. Looks like some hood damage as well there. A buckle on that National Guard logo on the front of his machine. And there may have been others that may have already retired from this race that we don't know about. And I believe Ryan George was able to get himself back onto the lead lap. No, he is still a lap down, never mind. I thought after he Kyle Bushed it, I thought he was out in front of all that, but apparently not. He is still a lap down to the race leaders. So, Cody Smart shows the way. Oh, look out. Catching the tail end of the field here. Not sure what's up with that. Anyway, we're going to take a look at a replay. What brought out this, our 2nd caution of the day. Christian Merrick Jr. appears to be the reason for this yellow. Well, I'm not exactly sure what this was for a position battle, but watch right here. Alex Gray down on the bottom, and his car just snapped loose. He gets up into Christian Merrick Jr., and that's where the black smoke came from. Alex Gray's car erupting as soon as his car came back down on all 4 wheels. And Christian Merrick Jr. just was kind of an innocent bystander, caught in the high side when Gray snapped loose, and he was kind of the buffer between the 0 car and that outside wall. It's a tough break there for Christian Merrick Jr. in that 232, and Alex Gray It's like his day is over. And that's another driver who came in running well in the point standings, getting involved in something. 5th in points is where Alex Gray entered tonight's race. So Bristol Dirt definitely playing a factor into what the point stands will more than likely look like leaving this evening's event. Green flag back out here on lap 17 of 30 as we were able to finally get everything settled out amongst who was a lap down, who wasn't. Cody Smart going to go out to the race lead. Now he's got a blockade between him and the second place car of Charles Jackson. You got M McIntire, Daniel Gilbert, Ryan George. They are all right now scored a lap down as they are 5 wide nearly here off of 2. They settle it back to 3 wide, but how in the world did they make that work? Oh boy, look out, they're almost 4 wide again as K Shearer now moves. Someone blew up! Cody Smart, the leader, just blew up! Cody Smart was leading this thing and he just blew up! What on earth? And their contact! J Cittadino into Tyler Deaver, they saved it! They're 5 wide again! 4 wide off of turn 4! Tsang, Olson, Chelsea Bowles! How the heck are we still green? They are beating and banging, rubbing doors, nailing fenders, and somehow we're still green. The new race leader is Charles Jackson. Zachary Stultz into 2nd, Shearer to 3rd, Farrell is up to 4th. McIntire, I said, was a lap down. I was incorrect. He is 5th. Daniel Gilbert is now up to 6th. As Jackson shows the way. How are we not under caution? But Cody Smart, what a tough break, leading this thing, and the engine explodes on his snap-on Ford. And now you gotta wonder if these drivers that are up here in the top 5, if they're just willing to ride, because if they finish where they are, they're taking part in the Hersheys Cup Series main event race in 2 evenings. Jackson shows the way, Stultz in 2nd, Shearer in 3rd, Farrell 4th, 5th place is M McIntire. One driver that's having difficulty hanging on to spots, that's Daniel Gilbert, the point leader. There you see him, he's going to lose a spot to J Cittadino. He just lost one to B Tellier. That front end damage you can see clearly on his National Guard Chevrolet seeming to play a factor, and when B Tellier just bypassed it, that was for a transfer position into the main event race. They're 4 wide back here again. That's teammates DJ Curtis and Austin LaPlante with Phil Parker and Stephen Pollard III. They settle it back out somehow, some way. And Cittadino, this is for 7th place. Or no, it's not, it's for 6th rather. And Cittadino will take the spot. Cittadino trying to make his first start of the season in a Hersheys Cup Series main event race. He's now up to 6th. The battle for the transfer spot between B Tellier and Alex Miller. And we are getting close to getting the signal of 3 to go, and Zachary Stultz is going to get the lead on the high side, and the caution just came out. The caution just came out, which means the race may end under yellow. And Zachary Stultz, by about half a car length on the high side, just took the lead. There's some more smoke, and this time it's D Shears, Trace Williams, Stephen Gonzalez, Daniel Olson, possibly Stephen Pollard III, Angel Navarro. Big wreck apparently here in the closing stages of this race, and Zachary Stultz just barely, by about maybe half a car length, was ahead of Charles Jackson with the run on the high side, and it looks like Stultz could very well end up winning this race. But we're going to quickly jump back, take a look at a replay of what happened, and then come back for the checkered flag. Now here's what happened. This was just outside the top 10 actually. This was back probably around the 15th, 16th some odd position. Now maybe a little further back, maybe around 20th. And Angel Navarro just kind of turns right down across the nose of Daniel Olson. Gets hooked into the inside wall, and then the track's just going to block up. Nowhere for Stephen Gonzalez to go. He's going to get up into Stephen Pollard III. Elijah Gilbert just barely gets through. There's Trace Williams. Absolutely nowhere for him to go. He just flies into that wreck. And here comes D Shears, and he's going to clobber the driver's side door of Angel Navarro. Jordan Lopez may have gotten a slight piece of that as well. Look at that. It's just like a junkyard, like a parking lot up there, as Angel Navarro's car actually does flip over onto its roof. Is it going to flip again? No, it comes back to rest on all 4 wheels, but about 6, 7, maybe 8 cars involved in this one, bringing out the yellow for what's more than likely going to be the final time here this evening at Bristol. White flag being displayed across the hood of Zachary Stultz out of Fire Ice Racing. Looks like he will be making his first start of the season in a Hersheys Cup Series main event. More importantly, taking home the W here tonight. Zachary Stultz came into this race 16th in the points stand, so this is going to be a huge points jump for that team. Charles Jackson's going to finish in second. Jackson came into today's race all the way down in 38th in the points, so a second place run tonight for him is going to be great. K Shearer going to build off of his win last week at Las Vegas. He's going to finish in third, and I think this actually is going to give K Shearer the points lead heading into next week as well. He needed to finish at least 8 positions ahead of Daniel Gilbert. I think he has done just that. And finishing in the top 5, Caleb Farrell. Looked like it was going to be a poor run for him, but he's going to finish 4th. The guy that came in 4th in points. And M McIntire will finish out the top 5 with J Cittadino and Alex Miller, which means that 3 drivers will be making their first, 2 drivers, I should say, will be making their first Hersheys Cup Series main event starts of Season 4. Zachary Stultz finishing 1st, and 3 drivers, I apologize. Zachary Stultz in 1st, M McIntire finishing 5th, and J Cittadino finishing in 6th. Jackson took part at Daytona, as did Alex Miller. Caleb Farrell and K Shearer both took part in last week's Las Vegas race, and history will be made in the upcoming Hersheys Cup Series main event race, because a Buick will be taking the green flag in a Hersheys Cup Series main event race for the very first time when M McIntire brings his number 26 to the green flag. Let's take a look at the full finish results from this race, as the standings, I believe, are now official. And indeed they are. Ignore most of these lap down things. It's a problem with Bristol sometimes under the pacing afterwards. If you don't cross the line after a certain amount of time, it scores you a lap down. But these drivers did not finish off the lead lap. So the 7 drivers that transfer are winner Zachary Stultz, Charles Jackson, K Shearer, Caleb Farrell, M McIntire, J Cittadino, and Alex Miller. Just missing out was the pole sitter B Tellier. Cole Deaver so close to making his second start. He'll finish in 9th, though, and P Minnick in 10th, so a good run for James Qualls Motorsports drivers, 5th and 10th here tonight. The points leader, Daniel Gilbert, will finish the evening in the 11th position, which, if I'm not mistaken, is exactly 7 positions. Nope, it's 8 positions back, so that means K Shearer will be the points leader by probably 1 point over Daniel Gilbert heading next week. Austin LaPlante, David Culpepper, DJ Curtis, and Phil Parker will complete the top 15. You look on down through the remainder of your finishing results from this race. You see the drivers that finished out of the race. Trace Williams, Ryan George finished 2 laps down. Daniel Olson, Steven Gonzalez, Navarro, Shears, they all ended up getting involved in the last caution of the evening. Cody Smart, they have him listed as an accident, but it actually was a mechanical problem. The engine exploding on his Ford Fusion while he was leading the race. He'll finish 36th. Christian Merrick Jr., Alex Gray finished 37th and 38th. And then Henry Nova and second in the points, Seth Cole, will not be second in the points after this race. He finishes dead last in the 40th position. So that's going to do it here tonight from Bristol Dirt for our Hersheys Cup Series non-charter race. If this is any indication of what we're going to see for the Pizza X Series and the Hersheys Cup Series main event, oh man, I am so looking forward to that. They were 4 wide, they were 5 wide, they were beating and bagging, rubbing doors, and somehow we were still green flag racing. So hope you enjoyed tonight's race as much as I enjoyed bringing it to you. If you did, be sure to give us a like, subscribe to become part of the crew today. 4 different races, 4 different race winners. Daniel Gilbert at Daytona, Tyler Deaver at Rio, K Shearer at Las Vegas, and tonight Zachary Stultz at Bristol Dirt. We will show you now your point standings heading into next week, and we will see you guys for the Pizza X Series next up, coming here on the NNSCRA Sports Channel. Offline racing at its best.